The first time Kay saw Belle and Claire together, she felt a strange heat twist inside her chest, something she didn't want, something she didn't understand, something she would spend months trying to deny. And if you're watching this right now, don't forget to like the video and subscribe, because what you're about to hear is a story about three hearts that collided when they least expected it, a story that will burn quietly inside you long after the last words fade. Kay had always lived her life carefully, like a person afraid to disturb the air around her. She studied art, worked part-time at a small cafe, and loved from a distance because loving up close felt too dangerous. People said she had a soft soul, the kind that bruised easily. She believed them. But all of that began to change the day Belle walked into the cafe, her dark eyes restless, her voice sharp but tired, as if she was exhausted from carrying pieces of herself she didn't know how to put down. Belle wasn't from Kay's world. She was fiery, the kind of woman who lit up every room with a confidence so intense it felt like sunlight. She had the kind of smile that dared you to step closer. The kind of gaze that asked too many questions without saying a word. And Kay, quiet and unsure, felt her whole world lean toward Belle without permission. Claire entered the picture differently, soft, warm, gentle. She came to the cafe to read, always sitting at the same corner table with a cup of jasmine tea and a book she never finished in one sitting. She noticed Kay first, the way Kay always tied her hair with a thin ribbon, the way she smiled nervously when someone complimented her art displayed on the cafe wall. Claire loved small, beautiful things, and Kay was one of them. But Claire and Belle, despite their opposite energies, shared a connection that few people understood. They weren't dating. They weren't exes. They weren't even friends in the traditional sense. They were something in between, two people bound by a history of almosts and unfinished conversations. Claire understood Belle's storms. Belle understood Claire's silences. And this balance between them became the force that pulled Kay into their orbit. At first, it was accidental. Belle would linger after closing time, leaning on the counter, asking Kay why she looked away every time Belle held eye contact. Claire would show up on Kay's day off, pretending it was coincidence, and ask her to walk in the park. Each woman gave Kay something she had never had. Belle gave her courage, Claire gave her belonging. But the heart is fragile when pulled in two directions, and Kay soon realized she was falling for both of them. She tried pushing them away, avoiding Belle's late-night visits and Claire's quiet invitations. But they kept appearing, together and separately, and every time they did, Kay felt herself burning more intensely than before. The tension grew the night Belle confronted Claire outside the cafe. Kay saw them through the window, Belle pacing, Claire standing still, the air sharp like broken glass. "Why don't you tell her?" Belle demanded quietly, anger mixing with pain. "You like her too." Claire's voice was barely audible. "And so do you." Kay didn't want to hear more. She closed the lights early and left through the back door, hoping the shadows could hide her from the truth. But the truth followed her home. Belle showed up first, breathless, frustrated. "Don't run from us, Kay." "Not from me. Not from her." Her voice cracked, something it had never done before. "I'm scared too. I don't know how to deal with this." Later that same night, Claire arrived, her eyes soft but filled with the same fear. "Kay, you don't have to choose. You don't have to love the way the world tells you to. You're allowed to feel what you feel." Kay broke then, not from confusion, but from relief. For the first time, she realized she didn't have to shrink herself to fit an expectation she never chose. But finding clarity didn't erase the challenges. People whispered. Friends questioned them. Some called it foolish, messy, impossible. But what mattered was that Belle, fierce and loyal, stood by Kay's side, while Claire held her hand during the nights when self-doubt returned like old shadows. Their bond wasn't perfect. Belle struggled with jealousy. Claire struggled with insecurity. Kay struggled with believing she deserved them both. But love, real love, doesn't collapse under imperfections. It grows around them. Months passed, and the three of them built something quiet and steady. Belle began helping at the cafe, laughing loudly whenever Kay scolded her for using too much caramel in drinks. Claire wrote poetry inspired by little moments, Kay's dimples, Belle's restless hands, the warmth of 3 coffee cups placed close together. They became a small flame in a world that didn't always understand them. The turning point came during a festival night when lanterns filled the sky like floating stars. Kay watched Belle look at Claire, Claire look at Belle, and then both of them look at her as if she was the center of the night. For the first time, the fear in Kay's heart dissolved completely. Belle whispered, "Burn for you?" "I already do." Claire added softly, "We both do." And Kay finally allowed herself to speak the truth she had been hiding. "Then stay. Stay with me. Both of you." The lanterns rose higher, carrying their promise into the night. Their story didn't end with a perfect solution. It ended with something far more real, 3 people choosing each other every day, learning to communicate, respect boundaries, and love in a way that didn't fit in neat shapes but felt truer than anything they had known before. And if you've watched until this moment, remember, love has no rulebook. No single shape. No single path. If this story touched you, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who needs a reminder that the heart is wide enough to hold more than the world expects. Because love, just like this story, isn't meant to fit. It's meant to burn.